Well, hello. Welcome to today's video. One of the questions we get asked all the time, and I'm hoping this video helps answer the question, is about grits. What I need to do is explain a little bit about our glitter. This is now German glass glitter. It is actually produced by taking ground glass that's been colorized, coated with silver, and ground into different consistencies. You might think about it as grain size. You might think about it as what we call grits, but it ranges from very, very fine, which is 100 grit, and very coarse, or shards, which is 70 grit. And so the purpose of this video today is to show you firsthand the difference between the four grits and to give people a better idea of what kind of glitter, what grit might be the best for their project. So what I have here is 4 kilo bags of our silver glitter, and I'm going to use 4 crystal bowls to do kind of an unveiling of each of the glitters so you can see exactly what they look like. So I'm going to start here with our 70 grit. Now 70 grit is very coarse. It's almost like little pieces of glass. Now people always get worried that they're going to get cut by working with glass glitter. Now I've been doing this for years and years, and I have to admit, I maybe have been poked once or twice, but this is the coarsest glitter, and you can see I'm actually rubbing it between my fingers. I'm actually diving in. I mean, I almost could swim in this stuff. And yeah, you shouldn't eat it, and you probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, but there's no better way to kind of see the beauty, to see how the light picks up and the shine is created from this glitter, and that's all from the silver base. And you can also see kind of the texture, that it does have a very coarse, very rough texture. And of course what that means is that the 70 grit is going to pick up the light in a much better fashion, because there's so much more glitter to grab a hold of. So that's 70 grit. I'm going to put that over here by the 70 grit bag. And now I'm going to move, I'll put these aside for a minute. I'm going to move to the other side of the spectrum, 100 grit. Now 100 grit is very fine glitter. It's almost like, you might say like powdered sugar. This is really good for maybe greeting cards, very light projects, scrapbooking, things where you don't need a lot of weight, but you really want to pick up that color. You really want to pick up the shine and the sparkle. And just like with the 70 grit, I wouldn't eat it certainly, but you can just tell it's just like velvet. It really is just like velvet. It's so smooth, it's so beautiful, and you can see it's just like a bowl of little jewels. So if you compare the two, 70 over here, very coarse, small shards of glass, 100 grit over here, kind of very powdery, very fine, beautiful glitters, and now we have 2 in between. Okay, so I'm setting the 100 over here, I'm setting the 70 over here, and now I'm going to show you the 90 grit. Now the 90 grit is the most popular glitter, and the reason for that is it's kind of a cross between the two, where you have the beauty of the 70 grit, nice sparkle, a little bit of density to it, but you also have a lightness like the 100 grit. So now if you look at the 3 here, we see 100 grit, very fine, 90 grit, a little bit rougher, still lots of sparkle, not quite as velvety, more like, if this was say powdered sugar, this is more like maybe regular sugar, maybe sand. I would say sand, where this is much more like, say, a natural crystallized sugar. Okay? Now, the difference is 70 grit typically used for craft projects where you want that density, you really want to pick up that extra sparkle. 100 grit more for scrapbooking, maybe from cards. And I would say the 90 grit is kind of the workhorse of the glitter family. That's what most people order. It's what most people want to use in their project. Now, we do have an 80 grit. Why do we have an 80 grit? Because when it comes to glitter, you never can have too much glitter. We actually stock all 4 grits. We actually stock some heavier grits too, but we'll get that into in another video. We probably have more colors and more grits and more unique blends than any other company around, and that's because we are the glitter specialists. Now, here's the 80 grit. And this kind of completes our little symphony of glitter. And I'm going to go through this just to kind of show you again the difference. The 70 grit, and I'll use my little spoon here perhaps. Very, very chunky. The 80 grit has a nice texture to it. It's almost like salt crystals. It has a little bit of weight to it. It does certainly pick up that light. It's very, very sparkly, very beautiful. But it's also a little bit heavier. The 90 grit is very, very fine. It's again like sand at the beach. And then when you get into 100 grit, again, just perfect for scrapbooking, perfect for cards. This is what you'll see in many of our, if you go to our blog, many of our card manufacturers, or I shouldn't say manufacturers, artists, and people in our design team who do cards and scrapbooking tend to go towards this side. Over here we have our artists, we have our crafters who are really doing maybe some indie art, maybe they're doing something really kind of on the edge. They tend to go for the more heavy grits. We have, again, these 4 beautiful grits in 30, 40 different colors. And one of the things that people will tend to do is they like to mix the grits. And I'm going to show you really quickly what that does. Because if you imagine, here you have your 70 grit, and I'm going to put a little bit of 70 in here. And then you have your 90 grit. Now look what I'm doing. I'm mixing the 90 right into the 70. Of course, I'm using my little glitter funnel because there's no better way to work with glitter than to have your glitter funnel handy. And what I want to show here is that by putting these 2 grits together, it actually gives you something that's really unique. It gives you the sparkle of the 70 and the coverage of the 90, where the 90 grit is very fine and will kind of help maybe fill in the nooks and crannies, but that 70 grit gives you that sparkle. Now Miss Mustard, and you can check out her blog, this is one of her specialties. It really gives you a beautiful effect, and there's really no wrong way to use glitter. I mix the 70 and the 90, you can mix the 80 and 100, you can create your own different grit styles. Whatever you want to do, it's all up to you. It's all beautiful because it's German glitter. And just remember, glitter has a mind of its own. So you got to contain it, otherwise it's going to end up in your carpet, in your hair, and who knows where else. That's it for me. That's it for Myers Imports. Come to myersimports.com. Check out our blog and all our great glitter products. Thanks. Bye-bye.